Hi, let us have an honest conversation right now. I know the inner monologue that plays when you stand in front of the elevator with the door open and the stairs waiting in silence. You promise yourself tomorrow you will do something different. You already see the to-do list, the good intentions, the mental rehearsal. Then the usual voices arrive, saying things like, "I do not have time. It is too hard. It will not change anything." I am asking you to pause those voices for a moment and imagine a different promise. Imagine a tiny daily habit that costs $0, no equipment, and sits literally at your feet, and that over years shows up as more birthdays with people you love, clearer thinking, and fewer hospital visits. If that sounds too small to be true, stay with me for 90 seconds. I will show you the science, a clear plan, and 5 benefits that explain why this simple move is one of the most powerful things you can do for your brain and your heart. At a major cardiology congress, researchers pooled data from almost 500,000 people in a meta-analysis and found that small bouts of everyday movement, such as climbing stairs or brisk household activity, were associated with a roughly 39% lower risk of dying from coronary disease and a sizable drop in all-cause mortality. 39% does not live in a spreadsheet. 39% means more mornings making coffee with someone who matters, more weekends of clear conversation, and fewer years tied to pills and appointments. That same body of research ties brief functional movement to markers of brain health, including higher circulating BDNF levels, which help neurons build new connections. Those are the facts that turn a single flight of stairs into a protective strategy. If this lands with you, make a tiny public pact right now. Write in the comments, "I will take care of myself." Type exactly those 4 words. Doing so turns private intention into visible commitment, and it helps others who are reading decide to act too. I will be reading comments and calling out a few names in the next videos. Good, you did it. Now let us silence the excuses one by naming them and showing a clear way through. You might think, "I do not have time." You might think, "I am not fit enough." You might think, "This is insignificant." I hear each of those, and I will answer them the way I would answer a patient who trusts me with a problem. For I do not want to lecture, I want to offer a plan. If your main objection is time, know this: 10 minutes of concentrated functional movement, redistributed across the day, produces measurable physiological change. The body reads intensity and frequency more than the clock on the wall. If you worry about fitness, start at 1 flight of stairs or 5 minutes of brisk gardening and scale up. The muscles will remind the brain that it can adapt. If you feel the idea is trivial, understand that small, repeated inputs accumulate into large change. Think of it as compound interest for your metabolism, your vasculature, and your neural connections. Let me introduce you to the 5 benefits I promised. Here is what we will unpack next. Benefit 1 improves circulation and reduces cardiovascular risk. Benefit 2 rebuilds muscle and defends against sarcopenia. Benefit 3 tunes your metabolism, lowering insulin resistance and visceral fat. Benefit 4 protects memory by increasing BDNF and hippocampal resilience. Benefit 5 boosts mood and stress tolerance through better sleep and enhanced nitric oxide signaling. Each benefit has a simple villain mechanism we will name and a practical reward you can feel. After that, I give you a 4-week plan to start today and progress steadily. Are you ready to see how simple actions rewrite long-term risk? Before we dive deeper, let me tell you briefly who I am and why this matters to me. I grew up in a small apartment with stairs that creaked and a mother who walked everywhere, balancing grocery bags and a toddler. My childhood smelled of lemon cleaning fluid and of sunlight on concrete. For years, I worked in hospitals watching people lose years of vital life to slow decline, often because the changes began long before symptoms appeared. That became my turning point. I studied exercise physiology and read the trials and the meta-analyses. I visited community centers and learned how tiny behavior changes translate into resilience. Today, I work at a university hospital designing simple movement-based interventions, And I still think of that creaky stairwell as one of the first training grounds for health. The arc from childhood memory to present practice explains why I speak plainly and why I make the promise that small daily actions protect your brain and heart. Now, benefit 1. The villain here is stagnant circulation and vessel stiffness. Each step up engages large muscles in your legs, which act like a second heart, sending blood back toward the core and improving endothelial function through increased shear stress and more nitric oxide. In plain language, the pipes that carry blood become more flexible and efficient. The emotional reward is immediate. You feel warmer, your hands and feet that used to be cold get better circulation, you feel less breathless when climbing to the second floor a few months later. Imagine James at his office building breathing hard after a flight of stairs last month, and now walking up 2 flights with a calm chest and a smile. Dialogue moment with James and me in the stairwell. Me: are you feeling the difference, James? I am sweating a little, but I feel lighter. James: yeah, I can hear my heart, but in a good way. How did you motivate yourself? I told myself 10 minutes is not forever. James: I started with 1 flight, and now I take 2 each time we arrive. Me: what keeps you going, James? I signed a pact with my sister, and she texts me every morning. Me: that social nudge is the secret. James: exactly. It is small, but it accumulates. Notice the cool metal of the railing under your palm, the hollow echo of footsteps, the faint smell of coffee from the lobby, and the steady rhythm of breath that changes from sharp to even as weeks go by. Those sensory signs mark physiological progress. Benefit 2 addresses muscle loss or sarcopenia. The villain is gradual muscle wasting that makes daily tasks harder and increases risk of falls. Functional movements like squatting to lift a grocery bag or climbing stairs recruit fast and slow muscle fibers, build strength, and stimulate repair pathways in muscle tissue. The reward is literal physical capability. You can carry a small child, a suitcase, or a bag of soil without fear. Imagine Maria, who after menopause felt her knees give, but after consistent short sessions of functional movement, regained confidence and felt muscle tone return. I will name more characters you will meet in passing. Marcus, a retired teacher who loves to garden. Coach Lena, who runs a community class. Dr. Patel, a cardiologist who backs the evidence. Sophia, a neighbor who organizes walking groups. Ellen, a friend who sent in a message about her mother who regained balance. Each of these people has small rituals that support change. Benefit 3 is metabolic resilience. The villain is insulin resistance, and the secret armor is muscle tissue. Every minute of functional movement increases glucose uptake by working muscles independent of insulin. Over weeks, that means less visceral fat, less inflammation, and improved energy. Emotionally, this feels like fewer energy crashes, clearer afternoons, and clothes fitting better. Picture a kitchen scene with the scent of roasted vegetables, the clink of cutlery, and the warm hum of conversation, where someone says, "I used to nap after lunch, but not anymore." Benefit 4 concerns neuroprotection. The villain is shrinking hippocampus and poor synaptic plasticity. The mechanism is increased BDNF production and improved blood flow, which nourish the hippocampus, the brain area for memory and learning. Reward is sharper memory, more focus, conversations without the fog, and fewer moments of losing words. There is real evidence that regular movement acts like fertilizer for neurons, helping new connections form. Think of a neurologist using the image of pruning and planting new shoots to explain how movement keeps the brain garden healthy. Benefit 5 tackles mood, sleep, and stress physiology. The villain here is chronic low-grade inflammation and dysregulated stress hormones. Regular functional activity lowers inflammatory markers, enhances nitric oxide levels, and helps normalize cortisol rhythms. The reward is a calmer morning, a night of deeper sleep, and better stress tolerance. Imagine lying down after a day of purposeful movement, feeling muscles pleasantly tired, and breathing deeper as the world narrows to the hum of evening. And the soft weight of a blanket. Now, I will share 3 tension moments I want you to feel because change is rarely smooth. First tension moment. You arrive home exhausted after a long shift. Your coat is heavy, your feet ache, and the elevator door is open. The voice inside whispers, "I do not have energy." For a suspended minute, you imagine collapse on the couch, television on, takeout numbers on the counter. That moment stretches into a decision point where the easiest move is also the one that will either widen the gap or close it. Your hand reaches for the elevator button, then for the stair rail. Your lungs fill with a stale corridor smell, you hear the muffled sound of a neighbor dropping keys, and yet you notice the texture of the worn tile under your shoe. That sensory register anchors a choice. The physiological tension is real. Your heart rate climbs with the first steps, but within 4 minutes, your breathing shifts and that tension dissolves into accomplishment. The narrative of change lives in these small moments. Second tension moment. You try to start, and the scale tells an old story. You do not feel immediate reward. You doubt whether small moves matter. You walk to the community garden, your palms in soil, and a friend laughs and says you barely broke a sweat. The doubt presses like humidity. Then you notice a sprout. Your hands have helped plant, its stems straightening in sunlight. That small proof dissolves skepticism. The sound of birds, the damp coolness of earth on your fingertips, the slight ache in your forearms become confirmations that biology is moving with you. Trust grows with repeat evidence. Third tension moment. You face a setback, an illness, a vacation, or a bad week at work. The ritual unravels and you fear falling back decades. The feeling is cold and heavy in the stomach. Here, the social names matter. Marcus calls to remind you of the pact. Maria drops by with soup. Coach Lena sends a voice message saying, "Start where you are." The external messages stitch a safety net. You rehearse a tiny comeback, one step at a time. These tensions are not failures, they are the fabric of sustainable habit. Enough theory now, the practical plan, week by week, starting today. Week 0, immediate steps. Begin with an honest mini-audit. Notice one opportunity you already have: stairs, a park, a set of steps at work, or a small yard. Commit to 2 minutes of intentional movement twice a day, or 1 flight of stairs 3 times a day. Use the phrase out loud, "I will take care of myself," to convert intention into action. Week 1, progress. Add 1 extra ascent or 5 minutes more of gardening per session. Keep a simple log on your phone. Week 2, escalate safely. Add intervals where you climb a flight at a brisker pace, then recover. This is not about sprinting, it is about Week 3, integrate strength. Add bodyweight squats or sit to stand from a chair 5 to 10 repetitions after your stair sessions. Precautions include listening to pain signals, warming up slowly, and consulting a professional if you have unstable heart symptoms. Practical tips include pairing movement with daily cues like waiting for the kettle to boil, taking calls standing up, or parking slightly farther from the entrance. Social nudges matter, so choose a partner for accountability and celebrate small wins. Now, the big synthesis. All 5 benefits converge into a single promise. Regular, everyday functional movement becomes a form of neuroprotection that works with heart health, metabolism, muscle reserve, and mood. Think of it as a multi-layer shield. Each step you take creates mechanical stress that the body interprets as instruction to repair and improve. Muscle tissue becomes more metabolically active, which lowers visceral fat. Better circulation supplies oxygen and nutrients to the brain. Increased BDNF helps neurons adapt and store memories. Reduced inflammation calms mood and sleep. Put together, this is a cascade that reduces risk and multiplies quality years. Picture an older version of yourself in 10 years, clearer, calmer, stronger, enjoying dinners and walks and being fully present. The image matters as much as the numbers. The urgency is compassionate. The cost of inaction is slow attrition of capabilities and years lost to preventable conditions. The reward is not a dramatic overnight fix. It is a life tended kindly by small, consistent deposits day after day. Final practical notes and community invitation. Share this video with someone who keeps telling you they have no time. If you were moved, write in the comments, "I will take care of myself," and put the name of one person who will join you. Subscribe if you want weekly practical guides grounded in science without gatekeeping. I am doctor in exercise and preventive health, and I will keep bringing testable, simple strategies you can try on Monday morning. If you want a deeper dive, I will link a related episode about walking strategies and a short printable plan in the description. Now, the closing promise. The door of the elevator is not a sentence. It is a threshold. The first step up is not heroic. It is a contractual moment with your future self. Every deliberate ascent, every minute of purposeful functional movement is an investment in your brain and heart. Start with one flight today and notice the feeling of your lungs settling, the warmth in your palms, the sound of your steady footsteps. Each small action counts. Keep the pact. Rise again tomorrow. Subtle change becomes durable change when you do it together. See you on the stairs.